Daniel Vasi from Vasi Games. Today I wanted to show you one of my favorite games. Now, this one has a warning attached to it, so it gets a little hype and a little crazy. So if you have classrooms next to you that are maybe taking a test, they will hate you for the next month. But if you don't, if you can get away with this, this is a very simple to set up game, and it's fun for almost any situation. Trust me, you're going to love this one. All you need is one thing, a beach ball. Now, let me show you my skills with the beach ball real quick. You probably won't believe this because you're going to think, it's a magic camera trick when I show you, but check this out. All right, go ahead and toss it to me. Boom, 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 boom. I amaze myself. I probably, man, that's just crazy. But anyways, all you're really going to need is your good old friend, the beach ball. I have found that the bigger the ball, the lighter the ball, the better. So for example, don't bring in a basketball. A softball will kill people. So keep it near this level. Bring in your beach ball. And then I call this game, when I do it in my class, I know this is going to amaze some people. It took me a while to think of it. Vasi ball. You might not want to call it that. You might want to swap out my last name for your last name. Own it. So, Mrs. Smith, it's going to be Smith ball. Once you play this, your kids are going to be asking to play Smith ball for the rest of your life. Now, these are the rules to Vasi ball, Smith ball, whatever you end up calling it. You tell your students that they can sit in kind of any formation that they want. So for example, if they're all sitting at desks, they can just stay there. If they're in seats, you can get them in a circle, any way that you want to do it. So let's say, for example, that they're sitting in a circle. So you got some desks like this. Now there's probably going to be more students than that, but let's say you want to organize them all in a circle, or let's say you want to organize them in rows. They're sitting in rows. It works for anything. The only rule is this. You have to tell them that once they're sitting, they cannot move. So once they station themselves and they're sitting, they can't move anywhere. They can't get up out of their seat. They can't jump. They can't run. They have to stay seated. And then you toss the ball into the crowd. And they're going to try to hit the ball back and forth. Now, every hit, you're going to yell out a number. So, for example, you throw it to Bethany. Bethany's like, I got this. Boom. Goes to Trayvon. Yeah, baby. Boom. Goes to someone else. Every time it's hit, you yell out a number and yell it pretty loud. So, for example, 1, 2, 3. And you only stop once the game ends. This is how the game ends. If the ball boom, hits the floor, the game ends. If someone hits the ball twice, the game ends. And this will happen. So someone will get overly excited and be like, boop, ah, boop, 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 boop. You're going to say, okay, game over. If the ball hits the floor, if someone hits it twice, or if the ball rolls. So for example, if someone hits it and it rolls on a desk, game over. Those are the 3 ways it ends. Now, there are a couple additional things you could do. For example, you could say no 2 people can hit it back and forth more than twice, so that 2 of the best players aren't just like, that helps relieve some stress. Secondly, you can let them bounce it off the walls, ceiling, whatever, as long as there's nothing that can get damaged. And trust me, I've done this pretty crazy technique all over the place. So even like projectors and things like that, a beach ball usually doesn't do anything to them. But the deal is, that's it. You just count how many that they can get and call it when the ball does one of those 3 things. Either it hits the ground, it rolls, or someone hits it more than once. It sounds pretty simple, but it gets extremely hype. And here's a way to make it even more fun. When I start, this is usually what I do. I start by telling my students, okay, I've done this for years. Let me just lay out some scores so you kind of understand how you're doing. If you hit it 5 times, that's actually decent. So you let them know that 5 hits is decent. And then you say, if you get to 10, that's actually good. If you get to 15, That is pretty amazing. And you kind of just keep going. Now, I'm going to tell you, 10 is actually kind of hard to get to. When you have a group of students, them all working together to get 10 can be kind of hard. Let's say 20 is no way, you're not going to do it. And then let's say something like 31 is my record. Whoa, that's a Beckard. Let's say 31 is my record. So then they have something to shoot for. Now, believe it or not, if you keep letting them try again, maybe like 10 times, you say, let's have 10 rounds and see what our highest score is. They will strategize on ways to work together and to team up and all help each other to get an incredible score. And sometimes I've had classes get into the 50s, but usually it's right around this ballpark. But they will love it. At first, some students are going to be like, I don't want to play. I'm not into sports. I don't want to hit a ball. But as soon as that comes to them and they realize all you got to do is flick a finger and the ball goes up, everybody's going to get involved. This game is so exciting that once you try it, you're going to probably want to do it pretty often. Now, let me tell you how you can use this in school. First of all, don't worry about tying it into the curriculum. If you're new to putting games and joy into your classroom, don't be so concerned about tying it into the curriculum. Do something fun once in a while to let people know you're human and to let yourself know that you're still alive. Secondly, if you want to tie it into the curriculum, there's millions of ways. So I do math. The way that I use this is when I'm teaching, for example, data analysis and linear regression, I tie it into the round and their score, and usually it gets better as time goes on, so I let them explore something called a correlation coefficient. That's, of course, not for every class. Let's say you're teaching younger grades, and let's say you're teaching spelling or something like that. You can say something like, I'll let you guys play another round if you can spell this word correctly. And then you go to someone, they don't spell it correctly. So you go to someone else, they don't spell it correctly. Finally, someone spells it correctly, they get to play around. So you can do something like that. Let's say you're in junior high and you're doing science, something like that. You can say, okay, we're going to do this versus another class. Now, the better you do on your experiment, the more rounds you're going to get in Smith ball. So this class gets 10 rounds. This class only got 5 rounds. They didn't do as good on the experiment, but they could still win in 5 rounds. So you can tie it into a multitude of different classes. The cool thing is this. Here's the secret. It's so fun that however you implement it, students are not going to complain and say, hey, how does this have to do with biology? Well, you're using your body. But the thing is, they're just going to be having fun. So try this. Get a beach ball, bring it into class, set aside 10 minutes to do it one day, and see what happens. I bet you're going to love it. I'll see you next time.